Y a partir de este momento, Montgomery al Día. Un programa presentado por el Condado de Montgomery con el objetivo de mantener a la población latina informada sobre todo lo que acontece en nuestro condado. Un espacio informativo para que usted obtenga acceso directo a los servicios de su gobierno local. Aquí da inicio Montgomery al Día. Queda con ustedes la presentadora de este programa y portavoz hispana del Condado de Montgomery, Lorna Virgilí.
Muy buenas tardes, queridos amigos. Bienvenidos una vez más a casa. Montgomery al Día, su programa oficial del gobierno del condado de Montgomery y galardonado a nivel nacional. Como cada martes, acá su presentadora y portavoz hispana de este condado, Lorna Virgilí. Hoy tenemos un invitado muy especial, nuestro nuevo ejecutivo del condado de Montgomery, el señor Mark Eldridge. Bienvenido, buenas tardes, welcome.
Bienvenidos.
Gracias, buenas tardes. How are you, Mr. Eldridge?
Estoy muy bien.
¿Está muy bien? You surprised me.
Yo puedo hablar un poco de español.
Sí. I know you're committed to practicing during the next 4 years and being a little bit more fluent, correct?
Yes, I plan on getting actual teaching instruction.
Wonderful. Acá pues él se estaba presentando acá un poco en español y ya nos anuncia de antemano de que va a recibir instrucción especial en nuestro idioma. Tiene gran interés en hablar el idioma español. So you're not really new to this radio show. You visited us in the past when you were a council member, but now you're the county executive. Can you tell us real quick, what is the difference? How does it feel to be the county executive for over 1 million residents in Montgomery County?
One of the big differences you actually get to make decisions and decide how things will be done. So you have the responsibility for executing laws, for making sure that legislation that's passed by the council goes into reality, plus, overseeing the operation of the departments. And when you're a legislator, you pass laws, you make proposals, but what you do is doesn't ever involve actually supervising or implementation. So it's a whole different role.
Déjame traducir. Le preguntaba la diferencia, ¿no? De ser anteriormente, pues, concejal acá en el condado de Montgomery a ser el ejecutivo oficial. Pues, cuando eres el ejecutivo, te toca implementar las leyes, no solamente crearlas, pero implementarlas. Mientras que cuando, pues, uno es concejal, es el cuerpo legislativo y es más bien el legislar. Así que hay una gran diferencia en lo que son las dos funciones diferentes y un gran nivel de responsabilidad. So I'm kind of summarizing everything you said. Adjusting yourself these first few days, what has that been like?
I haven't fully adjusted myself because my schedule is really full, and it's fuller than, say, for example, a typical council schedule. So I am in meetings longer. I'm in meetings back to back. I don't get a lot of time in between, so it's kind of go. And I've been out of the office. Last night we did another listening session. I've been in multiple evening meetings on top of that, sí. So it's full.
Exacto. Preguntándole cómo han sido los últimos días, lleva pues pocos días en el puesto, cómo han sido pues ajustándose sobre todo al tema de su calendario, de lo que es el horario de trabajo, múltiples reuniones, por lo general una tras la otra, poco tiempo entre una y la otra para poder siquiera respirar, a time to breathe. Y a la misma vez, pues ayer, por ejemplo, estuve en una de las sesiones de escuchar a nuestros residentes en el condado de Montgomery y pues se hace, es en la transición básicamente, es literally a transition,
yes.
Transitioning from what it used to be and what your calendar looks like now. And it will probably be like that for a very long time.
I'm expecting, once all the people are in place in the administration, we're still interviewing and we're still in the process of making appointments. Once everything is settled and running, I anticipate that I'll have a little bit of breathing space. But I think until, at least for the next few weeks,
Exacto.
It wouldn't surprise me another month. Things are going to be pretty hectic.
Por lo menos las próximas semanas, mínimo el próximo mes, pues todo va a estar súper ocupado porque en este momento de transición pues se están llevando a cabo entrevistas también de personal que va a componer lo que va a ser su administración, su gabinete y a la misma vez para entonces, for then you will be a little bit more focused on the budget, right? Although you're focused on the budget today.
I had a budget meeting at 9 o'clock this morning. When I leave here, I go back. I've got several hours of budget meetings at the end of the day. So we've been doing budget work almost every day.
El tema del presupuesto, obviamente, del condado, pues es uno de los temas que se ha estado abordando prácticamente todos los días. Hoy, antes de venir a este programa, pues estaba involucrado en una reunión pertinente al tema del presupuesto, y cuando salga de acá continúan estas reuniones. Así que budget has, it is important because you do have to present it to county council by March 15th. And taking a look at the financial picture in the county, let's talk about money now. Let's talk about what that budget looks like for FY20. Preguntándole cómo se perfila el presupuesto para el año fiscal 2020.
So the first part of the budget we're dealing with is the capital budget. So this is the budget that's used to build schools, build transportation projects, libraries, police stations. All the construction.
El primer presupuesto con el cual estamos ahorita abordando, pues es el presupuesto que tiene que ver con la infraestructura del condado, la construcción de lo que es colegios, estaciones de policías, etcétera.
So we have a 2-year cycle. So we're looking at the capital budget that was created last year, and this year's when we make minor adjustments, hopefully.
Por lo general, con este presupuesto tenemos ciclos de 2 años y estamos viendo a ver qué.
And then we have to take into account, cost increases or new things that we have to do that we didn't think we had to do last year, and it all has to still fit in the same framework that we set last year. So there's some balancing going on.
Es balancear un presupuesto ya existente para los próximos 2 años. Pero tenemos que también mirar de cerca los costos, el incremento del costo de la vida para balancear lo que es este presupuesto. Este es el presupuesto de infraestructura del condado de Montgomery. And when it comes to the operating budget for the county.
So as soon as we get done with the capital budget, we're already looking at the operating budget, and this is where we have to make decisions about what level of services we fund, what we actually fund. What's been the success with what we've been funding, so that it helps guide us to make decisions to what we're going to do in the coming year. We're trying to be
let me translate that. Con el presupuesto operacional del condado estamos evaluando lo que ha tenido éxito de lo que ha estado recibiendo fondos, y es un proceso de evaluación. En este momento es el proceso verdadero de evaluación.
So we're trying to be very reflective about how we spend our money, because
reflexionando cómo se invierte los fondos, el dinero.
Because we don't have unlimited funds, and we have lots and lots of needs in the county. So we're trying to make sure that our dollars are spent as effectively as possible, and that means thinking about whether what we're doing is everything we're doing right, is everything we're doing effective. So it makes you more thoughtful about the process.
Es un proceso un poco más profundo en este momento, porque es pues evaluar lo que es la eficacia de cómo se han estado invirtiendo los dólares en el condado de Montgomery. I love it when you go like this. That means you understand what I'm translating.
You're doing a very good job.
Oh, thank you. Let's talk about a little bit about your priorities, because your priorities for the county, a host of them, all of them, impact the Hispanic community. These are our listeners right now. And at the forefront, since you are a former educator, you're a teacher at heart too, education. We know that within some sectors of our Hispanic community, there has been the achievement gap forever and a day, something that does not end. And you've made the emphasis on early childhood, not intervention, but education. Education. So you want to talk about a little bit about the vision when it comes to that. Hablando del tema, como él pues ha sido maestro, profesor, el tema de la educación temprana es algo que él valora como una de sus prioridades.
So, to start with, the gap some people call it an opportunity gap or an achievement gap, exists for both our Latino students and our African American students.
Exacto. La brecha académica es existente para los estudiantes latinos y también los estudiantes afroamericanos.
And we have a large number of students, about half our students are entering kindergarten 2 years behind, which means they're not really ready to learn when they enter kindergarten.
Muchos de nuestros estudiantes cuando llegan al preescolar, pues llegan con 2 años ya de atraso en cuanto a lo que es conocimiento académico y no están listos para continuar a aprender. Because it used to be in our countries the fact that you went to school to learn. You enter kinder to start learning. It wasn't. That was then, but now it's very different.
Well,
now there are these expectations of what a child needs to know when the child enters kindergarten.
I think, not everybody enters with what they need to know. And the problem is that it's difficult, particularly when you talk about language acquisition, to acquire a language that you didn't acquire when you were younger. And language is really critical. And I don't have to tell you how critical it is to understanding and being able to function in society.
Exacto. Uno de los temas yo le conversaba a él que pues era antiguamente que los niños llegaban al preescolar para comenzar a aprender. Ya esa no es más la norma porque está la expectativa de que los niños lleguen ya teniendo ciertos conocimientos académicos al preescolar, pero añade nuestro ejecutivo Mark Eldridge el tema de que el idioma es un gran componente, el poder entender, comprender es parte del aprendizaje.
And so, we're looking, the immediate goal is to try to extend early childhood to as many 3- and 4-year-olds as we can. We know we can't do it in 1 year. We know we're going to need additional support from the state, and there is some additional state money that's going to be coming to us over the next few years. And we want to make sure that we can reach the largest number of students as possible as we continue over what will be a period of years to increase the size of the population we serve.
Se trata de ayudar a los niños de 3 y 4 años, esa edad infantil. Sabemos que vamos a necesitar más fondos del Estado, más colaboración. Sabemos que tenemos unos fondos que nos van a estar entrando y solo se trata de saber cómo lo vamos a implementar. That would be the jurisdiction, obviously, of MCPS.
Yes.
But would you have a whole lot of input when it comes to...
Well, it's not entirely the jurisdiction. MCPS doesn't necessarily have to be the distributor of early childhood education. That can be done and will be done largely through, early childhood centers, daycare. Some people think of it.
Yo preguntándole a él cuál sería la jurisdicción dentro del sistema escolar de las escuelas públicas del condado, pero está pensando que estos programas de educación temprana para los niños se pudiera canalizar a través de las guarderías infantiles y de centros especializados para la enseñanza de los niños de 3 a 4 años de edad.
And the state of Maryland is going to set standards, for example, for teachers and goals for curricula, so we know that that's going to be part of the program going forward, and those apply both to private and to public preschool programs. And I anticipate a lot of this is going to be private.
Muchos de estos centros para atender a los jóvenes estudiantes tempranos, pues va a ser canalizado a través del estado de Maryland y se anticipa el Ejecutivo de que muchos serán a nivel privado y por supuesto llevando las guías, ¿no? y las pautas del estado y del condado. Let's talk about a couple of aspects in the Hispanic community, jobs and small businesses. We are entrepreneurial by nature. A lot of Hispanics in our community, they have small companies out of their own basement and so forth. And you have made an emphasis on building that sector. Years past, it has been a challenge for Hispanic business owners to do government contracting with Montgomery County. I know the numbers have gone up when it comes to procurement and Hispanics per se, but still, we don't have a piece of the pie. The bigger part of the pie when it comes to procurement. And when I'm out there in the community, I hear all the time, how do I do business with Montgomery County? What do I do? How do I do it? And yes, we sent them to procurement. And yes, there's a navigator. She's visited here at the radio show many times and so forth. But still, there is that gap for Hispanic business owners to actually contract with Montgomery County. What do you envision when it comes to not only Hispanics, but minorities?
I was going to say, the gap is for minorities trying to do
not
business.
Only and
and it's, more pronounced, frankly, in the field of construction, there's less of a gap. Mm-hmm. Outside of the field of construction, though, the gap is pretty substantial. We have goals. We haven't always met in fact, we haven't ever met the goals. I won't say always. So we're going to focus on actually making the goals things that we actually have to achieve.
What is that goal right now? 20?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
But we don't get there. And so what we're trying to do is make sure contracts are right-sized. Sometimes if I bundle contracts together, I can bundle things that are so big that no small business can handle it. Or you wind up with requirements for bonds that vastly exceed the ability of a small company to get a bond. So we're going to try to address some of those issues, make sure the contracts aren't bundled in a way that excludes people and that bonding requirements aren't unnecessarily high.
Le preguntaba sobre el tema de las licitaciones porque es un tema que ustedes saben siempre pues andan preguntando cómo podemos hacer negocio con el condado de Montgomery y cómo obtener contratos con el condado de Montgomery. Para sumarizar lo que nos dijo nuestro ejecutivo Mark Elrich es el tema de los contratos que estén diseñados sobre todo en el tema de la construcción de una manera que se le pueda dar la oportunidad a las compañías minoritarias, no solamente los hispanos, sino todo lo que tiene que ver con empresas minoritarias y a la misma vez la regulación de los bonos que son necesarios a la hora de, en el tema de la construcción en particular. Let's talk about, we talked about housing.
Yes.
Okay, so something resonated. I got a call from a radio listener last week about termites in her building and the fact that it's a rental property and the fact that, the communication with the manager of the property, the back and forth and still not fumigation and so forth. We get these calls all the time when it comes to housing. We know that rental rights is very near and dear to your heart. And also affordable housing in the county to age in place and also give an opportunity to the millennials to stay here in the county, work, and pay taxes here. So how are you going to bring all this housing challenges together to facilitate more to the public?
If I had the magic
wand,
I think, I would be worth a fortune.
Christmas wish.
Yeah, I would be worth a fortune and people would be hiring me everywhere to do that. It is a challenge. But some of the things we're going to do is we've already started increasing the inspection regime. Within days of my coming into office, we directed changes in inspection policies.
Let me translate that. El tema de vivienda conglomerado en tres temas en particular, en las inspecciones de las unidades que están al alquiler, la vivienda asequible y a la misma bien para ancianos, que esa no se lo he preguntado, esa es la próxima. Pero en cuanto a las inspecciones, él estaba diciendo que inmediatamente su administración ha abordado el tema de lo que es las inspecciones de las quejas de las unidades de alquiler.
So beyond the inspections, we're going to make an effort to extend the preservation of existing affordable housing. Affordable housing is very expensive to produce, and we have never produced more than we lost. When I say lost, I meant lost because rents go up so high that it's no longer affordable.
Retener, en cuanto a vivienda asequible, el condado pues va a ser un poco más proactivo en lo que es el tema de retener lo que es la vivienda asequible para no perder el portafolio.
So we want to increase our ability to preserve the existing housing stock because that's already affordable. There are already people living in these units, and we want to make sure that we don't displace more people and we can maintain what we've got. That's first goal.
Lo primero es obviamente la retención de las unidades que ya tenemos como vivienda asequible en lo que es el conglomerado de lo que tiene el condado.
And then we're going to look at more creative ways of producing affordable housing and particularly trying to provide more ownership opportunities for people so that we just don't produce rental apartments, but we produce units that can be either owned as cooperatives or condominiums.
Cooperativas.
Okay.
Y también estamos pues indagando maneras un poco más creativas de cómo podemos lograr que las personas no solamente alquilen, sino que también puedan ser propietarios de viviendas, lo que quiere decir que estamos hablando del tema de quizás transicionar a la compra de vivienda, básicamente, como cooperativas pudieran ser una solución.
Right. I mean, ownership is the key to building wealth. So if you rent and you rent for 20 or 30 years, if you don't have anything to sell.
Exacto.
You don't have any value in the apartment that you can take a loan against, like if you had a house, you take a second mortgage, you take an equity loan. If you're a renter, for all the money you've paid, even if it's as much as somebody who would have bought a house, you don't get nothing for it.
Exacto. La idea es pues hacer más propietarios, porque al final de la jornada, cuando uno es propietario de vivienda, pues ahí es cuando comienza lo que es crear cierto nivel de riqueza. Cuando usted es dueño de una propiedad, pues puede tomar préstamos hipotecarios en contra de la propiedad para hacer inversiones y crecer a nivel financiero, que es muy importante. Let's talk jobs. Another topic that I hear all the time when you know, from listeners is jobs. Number one, how do I get a job with Montgomery County Government?
Good luck.
You apply online, I say all the time. Go to their portal, you know, montgomerycountymd.gov/careers. I go through that. But I always get the return. Well, you know, doesn't the county need more bilingual personnel? That's one thing. And the other one is jobs in the county. I know the county has made great strides in investments in the bio industry, because it is the future. But there are also so many industries that not necessarily, I'm not bio.
No.
I'm not bio. There's so many other industries that perhaps need to be of attention as well. So what is your administration going to do about that?
So we're going to look at this pretty broadly. I mean, one thing is we want to look at the construction trades and make sure we bring apprenticeship programs here, and that we connect apprenticeship programs to kids in high school, so that there are opportunities for a person who's in high school to say, well, I may not be, you know, going to college, but I've been trained for a really good career.
Adiestramiento técnico. Déjeme traducir. Let me translate. Le preguntaba sobre el tema de qué vamos a hacer sobre empleos, ¿no? En el condado, crear empleos que no necesariamente sean en la industria biomédica, biotecnológica y otras industrias. Nos explica nuestro ejecutivo Mark Ehrlich el tema de que vamos a implementar quizás el componente de adiestramiento técnico, donde quizás en áreas, en campos como la construcción, se pueda tener un adiestramiento más dirigido a esa industria particular. O sea, no todos los jóvenes van a ir necesariamente a la universidad, no se van a graduar de la universidad, pero el componente técnico pudiera ayudar mucho.
So in addition to that, there are a lot of careers that, for example, don't require 4 years of college, but they require training at least beyond traditional high school. So one of the things we're looking at is putting more certification programs into high school, along with what we have available in Montgomery College, so that a student, say, who's in middle school could say, well, when I'm in high school, I'll be able to get a certificate. Maybe it's early computer training, which we can start early. Training in some of the lower level jobs in life sciences that can lead to other jobs in life sciences. So we want to be able to create the ability of students to imagine themselves and see themselves in a variety of different jobs. Too many kids think, if I'm not going to college, what am I going to do? And we need to start answering the
Exactamente.
question. Here's a menu.
Un menú de certificaciones quizás para los estudiantes, los alumnos que puedan empezar desde el colegio intermedio. No necesariamente que haya que ir 4 años universitarios, pero sí que haya una cantidad de oferta de programas de certificación más allá de lo que está implementando ya en este momento el Montgomery College, donde desde temprana edad los estudiantes puedan ir adquiriendo esas certificaciones y estén más capacitados para la fuerza laboral. I'm glad you brought that up, because my son just graduated from UMD, and you know, he did the 4 years.
Yes.
But now he got out, and he needs a list of certification in his field, computer science, that is this long.
Right. And we've talked to people who've said that, you know, you can get the certifications without going to college, and a lot of the certifications can be gotten in a few months. And I've talked to people, and we're in the IT field, internet, the world of the internet.
The world of the internet.
And, you know, they talk about, you know, going through continual computer training to be kept up to date on the latest programs and what they need to know. And not all of that requires a college path. And not all students, I think a lot of our students don't realize that there can be bright futures for them without going to college. I think too many kids think, if I don't go to college, then I'm not going to have the opportunity to be successful. And we need to show them that even if you're not going to college, you can be successful and you can have the things that you're going to need to have.
El mensaje es para aquellos jóvenes que quizás están considerando que no necesitan la educación universitaria. And sometimes it has a lot to do with finances and the fact that they need to help out at home and go to work and,
Yes.
and help the family and all of that. Certificaciones es algo que obviamente está a la palestra, algo que el ejecutivo nuevo Mark Elrich quisiera comenzar a introducir en nuestro condado como una opción para aquellos jóvenes que quizás no pueden o no desean ir a la universidad porque tienen que cumplir otras responsabilidades familiares, pero que a la misma vez se sientan que tienen la oportunidad de tener cierto adiestramiento académico y de que puedan ser exitosos al final de la jornada. We have a couple more minutes. Are there
Sure.
any topics that you'd like to highlight that are not part of my conglomerate, and also a message for the Hispanic community in the new year? As you have a long list of priorities, muchísimas prioridades que tiene nuestro ejecutivo. El sitio web nuestro, montgomerycountymd.gov, es el mejor lugar para encontrar todas estas información. And you do have one last listening session
Have a last listening
at
session.
your high school.
Thursday night at Einstein High School, the school I graduated from many, many years ago.
What year was that?
Like 5 decades ago, which is really scary.
Oh, wow. Hace 5 décadas que él se graduó de la escuela de bachillerato Albert Einstein, que está en Kensington. Y este jueves, precisamente, pasado mañana, el día 20, vamos a tener una de las sesiones para escuchar de nuestros residentes del condado de Montgomery. La sesión comienza a las 7 de la noche. Va a haber traducción profesional simultánea para que puedan entender todo lo que está diciendo nuestro ejecutivo Mark Elrich. Y es muy importante que lleguen a participar, a conocerlo personalmente, to meet you personally. La población estudiantil de Albert Einstein es mayoritaria, minoritaria, it's majority,
Right.
minority, y es importante que lleguemos a participar, a escuchar, a dar nuestras opiniones y a la misma vez a conocer a nuestro ejecutivo personalmente. We have about a minute left, a mess. And let me translate that literally.
So, I mean, we're going to continue to do listening sessions on the budget. So when this ends
The other one begins.
Thursday night, sometime toward, in the next couple of months, we're going to start probably 5 meetings around the community to talk about the budget.
Let me translate that. Una vez que culminen estas sesiones de escuchar a nuestros residentes, vamos a comenzar a principios del año próximo, para los meses de enero y febrero, vamos a tener las reuniones comunitarias sobre el presupuesto operacional.
And I want to continue to assure people that Montgomery County is going to continue to be a welcoming and inclusive community. I'm going to continue the work with the Office of Community Partnerships and make sure that, wherever you come from, regardless what language you speak or what your beliefs are, that you're going to find Montgomery County to be a welcoming home. And while we may have serious problems in Washington, we are not going to let those problems visit us in Montgomery County. We are proud of, our role in making sure we protect and work with our communities, and that's not going to change.
No vamos a cambiar la forma que acá en el condado de Montgomery somos una comunidad que le da bienvenida a todas las personas. Voy a continuar trabajando con la Oficina de Relaciones Comunitarias para asegurarnos que todo el mundo se puedan escuchar las voces de todos nuestros residentes, y lo que esté aconteciendo a nivel nacional, nuestros vecinos en la capital, en Washington DC, no va a impactar de la manera que nosotros hacemos las relaciones comunitarias acá en el condado de Montgomery. I think we're over a minute. We're done, right? We need to say goodbye. We have one more minute.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad is Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad.
That's right. And Happy New Year's Nuevo Año.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Muchas gracias por esta oportunidad.
Let's do it again. Feliz Año Nuevo.
Sí.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Muchísimas gracias. Gracias a nuestro ejecutivo, que como ya ven, el primer ejecutivo del condado de Montgomery que nos habla en español. Finally, we have an executive who speaks Spanish.
I'm going to work on it. I need to be better.
You will be better. Thank you so much, Mr. Ehrlich. Happy holidays for you and your family. And let's get 2019 on the road.
Yes.
All righty. Thank you. Muchísimas gracias por esa sintonía. Regreso el próximo martes.
Y hasta aquí su espacio, Montgomery al Día. Gracias.
Hola, señor. Aquí abajo. Pasaste un autobús escolar ilegalmente. Estás castigado. Y este castigo tiene multas grandes. También hubiese podido ir a alguien. Los autobuses escolares están equipados con cámaras para ayudar a mantener a jóvenes como yo a estar a salvo. Respeta el autobús escolar.